Hey everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Another Christmas type of episode here. So I got on some festive duds for you. We are in my kitchen. I'm Kimberly Knox. You're in the kitchen with KK. So you know that I am a functional and integrative health coach, has taken my passion into the kitchen to help you create delicious, delightful, never deprived food that fuels your cells to help you to feel better, more energized. And as the creator of the Simple Cooking for Vitality cookbook and the bioenergetic cooking method, I'm all about how does food relate and give information to the body. Well, you can get that cookbook on my website. Today, what we're talking about, and in that cookbook, by the way, there is a section in the back where it's snacks and desserts. Desserts should be made to be like a healthy snack, but to give you that reward that you're expecting from a treat. That's the issue. It's the dopamine that we're always looking for. What we're making today is super funny because I'm English. My background's English, and anyone who's English knows that fruitcake is a very big part of the um, your nationality. And fruitcakes can be made horrible, and most of the ones that are commercialized are. They're filled with additives, preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, absolutely the most inflammatory junk you could possibly imagine. And there's so many jokes about it, turning into a hockey puck or a football and tossing it against the wall. I have recreated a fruit cake. It's a rum, so I'm doing it as a rum cake as well. So it's a fruit cake, rum cake, and you do it as a bread. We're going to make it today. I first made it last week because I wanted to test the recipe to get rid of all of the inflammatory ingredients and just leave the fruits that are soaked in rum and getting rid of the refined sugars, the bad oils like a vegetable oil that's often used in cakes and breads, and too much added sugar because you don't need it. The fruits are sugary enough. So we're going to go through the fruits, then we're going to break, and then I'm going to show you how to make it. We're going to get it in the oven. Now, the fruits have been soaking overnight. They've been soaking in a spicy rum. You could use a Pusser's rum from the islands. You could use a Captain Morgan Select Premium. And here they are here. So let's give these a toss. So they've been soaking enough so that they're plump and amazing. And they're just going to have that spicy rum kind of flavor, which will cook out when you're baking it for over an hour. But just fantastic. So let's go through the fruit that's in this recipe. It's important to get organic raisins. That is because grapes are on the dirty dozen list. They have been for a long time. They are tremendously laden with chemicals. So you do want to get, and I keep them in containers because I'm going to make different cookies and other things with them and energy balls, bars. So we're going to have a cup of the dark raisins, and we're going to have a cup of golden raisins. Now you can get these at Trader Joe's. Actually, Trader Joe's has some decent fruits, organic fruits, and I'm going to show you a couple that I get at Whole Foods. So the golden raisins and the dark raisins, a cup of each of those will go into your bowl here. And then next will be dried cranberries. Get cranberries that have no added sweetness to them. And you can find those. You can even get dehydrated ones. So they're just plain cranberries. Those are really the best. Uh, and you just make sure you're checking because some of them have different like sunflower oil and things like that, and check the labels. You just want dried cranberries. Even at this time of the year, it's a great time to load up on organic cranberries in bags in your freezers because you can make delicious drinks that are going to service your kidneys and your bladder during the winter season, as it's kidney and bladder season. And those cranberries have a really powerful acid that helps to break away and make sure that bacteria doesn't line your bladder and as well, so that you can reduce the amount of bladder infections, etc. So dried Turkish apricots. Why do you want dried Turkish apricots? The apricots that are orange, there's dyes in them. You don't want them. You want just plain dried, and you're going to cut these up. I use my scissors to show you real quick. So very, very simple. You can use your utility scissors and you just cut these up into little pieces. And that way you don't have to worry about a knife slipping or being too tight or it sticking to it. Scissors are great for cutting up the apricots. So organic Turkish apricots, look for that. When you look for organic, you're looking for them to make sure that the amount of potential pesticides are lowered, because pesticides are damaging to your mitochondria. That is the energy of the cell. The cells are the fuel of your body. So, and a damaged cell is where cancer starts. All function and all dysfunction starts at the cellular level. We are always protecting our cells when we're thinking about what we're eating. Also, organic Bing cherries. These are unsweetened. So yes, you can get them. Just look for them. I keep them in here because I make my chocolate cherry chia vitality balls using these organic Bing cherries. Fantastic. So those energy balls are sweet, but with chia, which means energy in Latin America and Southern America, that's where you're getting your energy from, and good dates and some nuts and some coconut oil. So this is what treats are. Fats, fiber, protein, keeping your blood sugar stable, giving you deliciousness. So that is all in here. Also, what's not in here, because I use them all, are baby pineapples that you can get dried at Trader Joe's. Also, again, use your scissors to cut them into small pieces and put them in here. You can also use dried like peaches or pears. Just make sure they're organic, cut them up. So all the pieces go in here. So you want a lot. You want a cup of the raisins and the golden raisins and the dark cherries and a half a cup of the pineapple. And then I put a half a cup also of the apricots in there as well. And you want a third of a cup or a little bit more of the spicy rum, and you let it sit overnight. So it's been sitting overnight. So now we're going to make the cake. And so how are we getting rid of the inflammatory ingredients? Well, first of all, we are not using any refined sugar. You can use a coconut sugar in this or a date sugar. And we're using much less than is normally used. We're only using a third of a cup. We are actually going to replace the eggs. Sometimes there's about 4 eggs in here. We're going to use flax eggs, and we're going to use an organic cinnamon applesauce. Okay, so these are egg replacements. You don't notice it at all. Super moist and amazing. But what you don't want are some of the ingredients that could feed viruses and bacteria and things in your body that cause that inflammatory response. That's what people think being allergic to something is. It's not. It creates an inflammatory response. So what else are we doing here? So we're taking out that. We're also using a productive oil. You could use an avocado oil. I'm going to use a coconut oil. Either one of those will work. And we're only using a half a cup, but we're not using vegetable oil, no palm oil, no canola oil, none of those oils that are refined seed oils that are highly inflammatory to your cells, both your liver cells, your gut cells, everything. We want that out. And we're going to be using almond flour. Almond flour, no gluten, of course, keeps the carbs way down. You mix that with a little bit of arrowroot because to help it to be binding, and very delicious spices. So we'll be right back with getting all the ingredients together and go from there. So stick with us. Okay, are you ready to get this going? We got the oven preheating at 350 degrees. With all recipes, like cookies and other bread, you're going to start with your fats and your sugar, cream those together, get in the other wet ingredients, and then add the dry ingredients with the spices. So we're going to do that here, although we're using different fats and sugars. So what we are using is a half a cup of the cinnamon applesauce. I'm going to start though with the date sugar. We're using so you can use date sugar or organic brown coconut sugar. Both of those are fine. I tried date sugar in the first recipe I made of this. So we're going to use it again. And we're going to use a third of a cup. It might have some little chunks in it. I've noticed just the way it's, the consistency. So both date sugar, how they're different in coconut sugar than cane sugar, lower glycemic index. That means how does the sugar react in your body with your blood sugar? Also more nutrients. Okay. So just get out some of those little chunks here. Next, I'm going to add in the coconut oil so that it doesn't get hard when I add in the cool applesauce from the refrigerator. So we need a half a cup of the coconut oil. I'm getting down to the bottom. This is the brand that I cook with here, the Nutiva brand. So it's on my shopping list, which I keep in my kitchen. I give all my clients a healthy shopping list, the whole pad, and they can keep it right in the kitchen. So when you're thinking of something, and this helps you to remember maybe some of the new things that you haven't used before to add to your shopping list. Some things might be new to you. Spirulina, chlorella, the chia, the flax, the hemp hearts, all of these things I did not use 20 years ago. So it's good to keep those in the forefront. We are having to change the way we do some things today. Okay, so we've got a half a cup here. The great thing about coconut oil, you get it on your hands, rub it into your skin. In fact, that's why I make my coconut oil scrub. In Florida, it's one of the best oils to protect your skin and soften it in the sun. Keeps it protected. You can even put some into your hair. It's very, very nourishing. Okay, so let's get in the coconut oil here. So what we do is we kind of cream the oil and the sugar, or the fat and the sugar. I'm not using butter in this. I'm keeping it fully vegan, actually. Utilizing the plant-based coconut oil, or like I said, you could use avocado oil should you not have the virgin unrefined coconut oil on hand or you ran out. So what we did is we creamed the oil and the sugar together, getting those lumps out. Next up, we're going to be adding in, this is an unsweetened cinnamon applesauce. So I have a pumpkin energy bar that I turn into cupcakes, that I turn into a cake. It's so amazing. And so applesauce is used as a sweetener, also as an egg replacement. We're going to do a half a cup of this. There we go. So the coolness of the applesauce is going to harden the coconut oil. That's all right. We've already got it blended here. So what we are using instead of eggs, we're using flax eggs, and one flax egg equals 1 heaping tablespoon of ground fresh flaxseed and 3 tablespoons of water. So 3 of them would be 9 tablespoons, which is a half a cup plus 1 tablespoon, because there's 4 tablespoons in a quarter cup. And It's been sitting here getting thick already for us. So we're going to add that in. I do like to use my little spatulas. It's good to have the drawer handy where you do your baking with all your stuff. This kitchen was set up quite well. The nice big drawer here, so I have all my handy stuff here, as you know. So let's get that mixed in. Smells delightful. Nothing like cinnamon and apples, right? For the fall. I mean, seriously, the harvest time into the holidays, that's the bounty of our eating and cooking and enjoyment around food is just fantastic. We're going to get into vanilla next. It's one of our wet items. We need a nice heaping teaspoon. If you choose to add in a little bit more, it's probably not going to hurt it. So you want to get a nice Madagascar pure vanilla. That should be on your list there. We're going to put those away after. Now, what I've done with Tart cherry juice is I have a half a cup of Tart cherry juice with some chia seeds. That's blended together. I'm just going to add it to the fruit here. The chia seeds help to thicken the mixture. Now, the other thing that I'm going to add to the fruit now also is, you know that I use 100% raw cacao chips, Pasha brand. You can buy them on Amazon. Some of the fresh markets carry them. Whole Foods used to carry them, but I can't get them now. Just 100% raw cacao, raw chocolate here. So no sugar added. You don't need any more sugar to this. The raw bitter chocolate with the sweet and the spicy. Oh my God, this is outrageous. It's fantastic. So a nice half a cup of these chips. That's a third. Let's get that mixed in. At least a half a cup. If you choose to add a few more, you're not going to wreck the recipe. So when you're taking a bite of a piece of this delicious rum cake, get some tasty fruit. You're going to get all these flavors mixed together, and then have a piece when you're cooking. So what's good about those chocolate is that it's not going to elevate any insulin. So if you're having like the need to have a little chocolate, that's your go-to. Because when they say dark chocolate is good for you, first of all, it does have a lot of caffeine. A lot of them have fillers. They have lecithins to thicken them up. And unless they're pure, they've got sugar added to them. And it doesn't matter if it's organic cane sugar, it's still cane sugar. Okay, this is looking really amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up some of the wet items. Say hello to Rudolph. Make sure you get out your cute little mugs when you're cooking and you're in the at night, because so this is a ginger and turmeric tea. I brewed it myself. Now I am adding better sleep, better digestion, natural inflammation reduction. Delicious, so good. You can even do like a bag of a hibiscus tea bag mixed in with all that. So super yummy. We're going to be right back, and we're going to get the dry ingredients and get this in the oven. So stick with us. Okay, we're back, and we're on our way to make the most delicious, non-inflammatory, yummy rum fruit cake that just evades all of the bad press about fruitcakes and all the jokes, because it is absolutely scrumptious, and with the pop of the chocolate, fantastic. So we got our wet ingredients here. We've got all the fruit there. Now we're going to get together the flour. I'm choosing to use a super fine almond flour. We need a cup, and how much did I use? Let's say a cup and a quarter. Yeah, a cup and a quarter. And this is also going to have some bumps in it that you're going to want to get out. The nice fork. It's my fork. It was right here. I was just cleaning up. So anyway, and then we need a third of a cup of arrowroot. So arrowroot, organic arrowroot powder acts as a binder, kind of thickening up because almond flour obviously is just almonds ground down. And let's see, yes, a third of a cup. It's similar to my $1,000,000 chocolate chip cookie recipes. I use a cup and a half of the almond flour to a third of a cup of the arrowroot. Don't get it all over the place because it's really fluffy. All right, so let's get those over there out of the way. The spices are the most delicious spices of the season. The cinnamon, the ginger, the nutmeg, a little bit of Himalayan, pink Himalayan sea salt. Yeah, so I like to use the back of the fork to get out the little pieces here that have globbed together, the chunks. That's why it's important to use the fine almond flour. So I use Bob Red's Mills super fine almond flour. Buy it when it's on sale. Don't complain about the cost because to your body, it is magic compared. The carb load is so low, no gluten. Of course, unless you're allergic to almonds. And then you'd want to use something like a tiger nut flour, which is a tubular. And I haven't tried to make it with tiger nut, but I use tiger nut in some other recipes in place of where I would have had like maybe a little millet flour. So now this is nice and fluffy. Okay, so now we're going to be adding in our baking powder and our baking soda. We need baking powder 1.5 teaspoons. Where's my little guy? Here he is. Half teaspoon. Just use the back of the bag to drag it over it to make sure you have it topped off. And then 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. We're also going to use a little bit of, whoops, that's a half. We're going to use a little bit of lemon juice. So now is when I add the lemon juice to the wet stuff. So you could do both of the lemons, and that way you have a little lemon water. I might add some to my tea. We just need 1/2 teaspoon. This helps in the leavening, the reaction, but you don't need a lot of leavening for a fruit bread. A spicy fruit bread with a rum is meant to be dense and amazing and flavorful. Okay, so we've got that in there. Now we get the spices and the sea salt. I don't quite use 1/2 teaspoon of the salt. I just shake some in my hand, so it probably ends up being 1/4 teaspoon. Oh, that's what I have in my recipe. Nutmeg, if you love nutmeg, use a little less. I mean more. I use just 1/4 teaspoon, round it off. Cinnamon, if you want to add more, you surely can add more cinnamon. You can actually put some cinnamon over the fruit, but it's a spicy rum, so you are getting the spice. So the Ceylon cinnamon, at least a full teaspoon of that. So this is 1/2. I use kind of two rounded ones. So I like a little bit more cinnamon, but at least a teaspoon. And then ginger, another teaspoon of that. Fabulous. The warming spices of the fall are just divine. So let's fluff this around. So this is what I like to do with the dry ingredients. That way they're well blended and all of the bumps and lumps are out. I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything. No, we got it. I'm actually going to put in half of this, mix it in, and then I'm going to add in half the fruit and then add in the rest of the flour. So this is a deep mixing bowl here. So if the coconut oil got a little bit stiff from the applesauce, as it warms, will it will fluff up. This is really good arm strength. This is how I grew up cooking since I was young. So now we're gonna add in some of this. Now we added the chocolate chips. We added the Tart cherry juice with the chia seeds. Mix. We're gonna fold it in now. Isn't that looking amazing? I probably could have used a bigger bowl to mix this all in. Right. And then the last thing we're just going to add in some pecans. They're the sweet nut. Amazing. So this bread makes a fantastic gift, but yet it's not going to inflame somebody with a whole bunch of bad ingredients. And because there's so many autoimmunes out there and just, high sugar issues, we really need to try to make our sweets a little more forgiving right at the holidays so we can enjoy the taste of the holidays without feeling awful after. I have so many friends that already started feeling it on Thanksgiving Day. Make sure you're getting in some long walks, some long bike rides during the holidays. Do not forego your activity. Oops, a chip got away. Look how great this looks. Trust me, it smells amazing. Now, I don't even drink anymore, but I do like cooking with wine, and you could use a Grand Marnier on your salmon as you cook it, but these are all things that are really tough on your liver, especially at the holidays. So you definitely want to go in moderation. I just feel much better. I haven't drank for quite a while. Okay, so last thing is the pecan. So here's my little trick. Let's get this to the side. And I'm going to get a baggie. I'll show you. This is the easiest way to do it. So one of the little snack sizes. These are raw pecans, raw pieces. We need at least a half a cup. Get out your meat tenderizer or a hammer or something else. But you should all have a meat tenderizer. It's helpful when you're pounding out chicken breasts. It makes them easy to make chicken strips, tenderizes the meat, makes it easier to digest. You're breaking down those protein fibers. I think I just sprung a hole in my bag already here. That's what we're doing. We're just breaking up. Yeah, I did. So we're just breaking up the nuts a little bit. We're going to add them. And the pan is all ready to go. Oops. So let's get that over here. So what I do is I grease the pan. This is probably, this is a larger, it's a larger, you want a larger one, not a small one. Or you can do small ones, but just fill them. I might have some of this left over so I can make another something small with. This is cooked long and slow. I'm actually going to use one of these cups to get it in there. So this is parchment paper inside. It helps of the removal. That way you can just lift it out and set it aside. I actually lift it out, set it aside. Then you wrap it in the parchment paper and put foil over it. That way all the moisture stays in and it can sit overnight. Much easier to use a cup and to scoop it in there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have enough to make something small. Additionally, and maybe I added more fruit this time. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, because it's dense and it's not gonna rise that much, you just fill it to the top. I have enough left over to make something small. Amazing. So we'll be back when this is cooked. It's gonna cook for an hour at 350. And it's going to give me time to clean up. Then you can see it, and then I'll be able to finish my mom's Christmas yumminess because she loves fruit cake. Did I pause it? Okay, it's time to take out the yummy cake. Turn off the timer. So this is our rum fruit cake. Woo! Now that's gonna have to cool. It's gonna be wrapped. Hold on. Here's a little one. So I did this in a little miniature cheesecake wrap. So this is the small one. I'm going to wrap that as well. I'm going to wrap them overnight so all the moisture and the juices take in. So this is not like a regular cake or fruit bread where you look to see if the knife is gooey because it's very dense and amazing. You want it to be super moist. So we're going to let this cool for a little bit. And then, hold on one second. So I'm going to let the pan cool a bit on the granite countertop here. The stone absorbs the heat. Then I'm going to wrap it utilizing the parchment paper here, wrap it in foil. It's going to sit overnight. And this is how beautiful and delicious the pieces look. And they're really dense. So you just want to cut little pieces and you can put them into festive little cupcake thingies here. You're gonna love this though. You really are. So we'll take a look at the recipe. Thanks for staying with me, but to really recreate a rum fruit cake, especially if you're English or it's part of your family, or you just want to explore doing something healthier, this recipe is for you. National Fruitcake Day is actually December 27th. I don't know why it's after Christmas because it's often something you would give at Christmas or have during the holidays. But anyway, so you have your recipe. It was a delight for me to recreate this recipe into something healthier and have it to share with some of my friends. So next video coming up. So stay with us here. I'm going to be showing you hot chocolate. It is on December the 13th, I think it is National Hot Chocolate Day. I'm going to be making it with raw cacao. So thank you for being here and enjoying my inspiration of making healthier goodies here in the kitchen. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday time.